used to find bodies in Okinawa.
Oh wow.
Young boys, because they'd go down and they'd drink. And they'd go down and get that sake, that Japanese sake. You mix that with some American whiskey. It's like you're going on a journey.
Wow.
And they'd go down, but you know, in Okinawa, it was the #1 rate of syphilis and clap. So where today you can go get a shot and get over clap or whatever, over there it was 14 days, 2 shots a day, 1 in the morning and 1 in the evening to get rid of that shit.
Wow.
So the guys, a lot of the guys also came from very religious families and stuff. When you have a conglomeration of people coming in, where your main goal is to put together a team. But there's always going to be a general, a colonel, a major, a sergeant. You're going to have rank. That's whether you're Hell's Angels or whether you're the biggest gangs are military gangs. They're just a little bit more sophisticated and they got more money.
Right.
So, but when you look at the downgrade where you work with kids on the street today who have gangs, it's the same thing. There's one guy. And his philosophy isn't like the basic military. It's that if you don't do what we say, we kill you. Or we beat the hell out of you. So you have more of an incentive to be to be cool in a gang than you do to be in the military, because in the military you still realize nobody's going to walk up and say, you didn't do what I said, and put a bullet to your head and blow your brains out. Or they're going to tie you up and start beating the hell out of you. But when you look at the generation of the military concept, which goes down to street gangs, from guns to all of it, the incentive, whether you're a Muslim or whether you are a Christian or whatever around the world, is what gang are you in that if you don't do your job, they shoot you? So when you look around the world on terrorism, #1, that's inbred at a young age. But they know that they don't do what they were told to do, there's no place they can hide. So your incentive is survival. If I don't do this, they're going to kill me. Or my family. Or my mother, my sister, my brother, my wife. So when you look at that kind of stuff and you look at how we're competing, this is why we never could beat the Japanese. If we hadn't dropped that ship, the United States is the first country to use nuclear weapons against human beings. So how do you expect the rest of the world? That's our history. So when you go around telling everybody else what to do, no matter what you did it for, or what, we are the first human beings, the youngest country on the planet. We're not Egypt, we're not all these other things. We're the first ones to go up and say, sleeping people down there, we're going to make a point. And so we're going to drop a nuclear weapon. 2 of them. When you go talk to the Jews don't give a shit what you're saying. You killed 8 million of us. So our first conversation with you is we don't trust any of you on that level anymore. Because you've been doing this all the way back to the pharaohs. You've been killing masses amounts of us. So when the black people come up and they talk about what's going on with the annihilation. Well, when you talk about in this country, when you see some of these politicians, these white Republicans talking that shit, you say before you open your fucking mouth, you need to look at the history of your mother and your father and your grandparents. You own that, because that's the only reason why you're in that position. You didn't go out and work. You got money. You didn't go out there and work a 9 to 5. Your parents went out there and used multitudes of people, Asians, blacks, whatever, women, to amass wealth. So you came up with what? You've never been cold. You've never been hungry. You don't have to worry about health care. You don't have to worry about any of that. So you don't even know me. So how can you represent me? If you've never been hungry, how can you represent a hungry man? If you've never been tied up and beaten in a cell by policemen upside your head, how can you identify with that? The only reason you can identify with it now is because they got a thing called the social network and technology that's taking a picture of your stupid ass that you didn't know, like that politician, that asshole who's married, talking about marriage and the sanctity of marriage and God and all that, who's get caught by a secret camera that he didn't know was on, showing him kissing somebody working for him. Now his career's ruined. His wife and his kids are seeing that 24/7 on television. He had to resign because they weren't going to light up on him. He's been going around talking about how godly he is. He got caught not being godly according to their standards. So this thing right now about we're really starting to look at what the power structure is, because the power structure of the United States is, we thought we got rid of the British. We thought we got rid of the kings and queens. We just stopped calling them kings and queens. We just started calling them executives for Exxon Oil, executives for General Motors, executives for this, senators, congressmen. All they did was replace the kings and queens with what was called the power of money and control. And money and control has nothing to do with specifics of just women or color. It has to be with whoever you are. You can be white, you can be black, you can be a woman, whatever. We want your land. We're not going to just say, well, we're going to save the Jew population over there or the black population over there. We want to kill everybody. We want the land. We want everybody gone. So what you do is humanity being extinct by humanity, by those who don't want to feed you anymore, who don't want to hear your bitching anymore, who think because they got the money they should have 100 votes and you should have a half a vote because you're poor. The one power right now that you see fighting around the planet, the number one thing people are fighting for is the right to choose their leader. And they do more than we do in this country because everybody from other countries studies the leader and the philosophy of that leader. And they are less patient than we are, because if they get him in there and he don't do the job, they get him out. And they're willing to die to get him out. Nobody in America wants to die. We go fight a war, we're trying to get home. We're trying to get back to our wives and our kids. You're fighting the Taliban, you're fighting these people. These people go out, it's an honor to die. The Japanese flew their airplanes into your ship. It was an honor for the emperor to die. Everybody's trying to get to that other place we say is better than this. It's an honor to go there.